Hey guys, this is part two of my Lego collection, and I might give some more insight onto the future of what I'm making. Sorry for talking so fast yesterday, I was trying to get through my collection. I might end up talking fast in this one too, just to blow through everything, but I tried to record this yesterday, but I was uploading the other video, and like I said, I only have my phone, and thankfully the audio wasn't lagging, but the video was jumping around. It was really weird looking. I just decided to wait. But by the time my video got done uploading, it was like 1 in the morning. So I am gonna show the rest of my collection. Maybe, like I said, give some insight on what I'm doing for the future. And I hope you enjoy this video. Um, and I'll see you in a minute. So here's my second try at trying to show off my villains. If you remember the video, it was like I was talking about this and I was saying I was going to go over here. If it cut off at like me in between a sentence, I'm sorry, but I had to work with the YouTube editor and I couldn't hear audio, so I couldn't tell, and I don't remember exactly where. I mean, I always talk. I'm always talking and I talk really fast, so I apologize. But here we have Angel. I know we have an Angel here. You're probably confused. Well, this one is supposed to be the Horseman from Apocalypse, which was originally based off of Warren Worthington, but due to speculation, people, especially the Marvel Wiki, has debunked this as Warren Worthington, even though we haven't seen him, the original Angel, in the new timeline that they created after Days of Futures Past. There's lots of evidence to disagree that this is him, and this is some new kid who became Apocalypse's new horseman. So I had that. I had him before I had that one. I just had him as kind of a placeholder, but then I was like, oh well, you know. Then we have Doug Johnson III, Detroit Steel. For some reason, Justin Hammer came in the set. I don't know why. That's so weird. It was supposed to be based off of the Avengers um, assemble sets, and it came with Coulson and Iron Man in his invincible armor. But there was no indication. This never happened in the show, and never happened in the comics. His granddaughter Sasha Hammer became Detroit Steel for a small time, but never Doug. So this makes or never Justin, but Doug was Detroit Steel mostly. So I just gave him like masculine, repurposed Lex Luthor, Clone Trooper head or whatever is under there. Something that, you know, it won't be revealed too much. Sorry for it being very dusty. I haven't dusted it off in a while. Fenris Wolf, Magneto. I don't have the original set, and the Deadpool you saw earlier was a bootleg. Then we have a Sentinel. I'm a fan naming it Sentinel 1, Section Leader, the original Sentinel of the original Sentinel line, the Mark 1s, even though I think that's supposed to be a Mark 4. Though, you know, Lego never really specifically confirmed this because it's not really important. It's a Sentinel all the same, but still, Section Leader, Sentinel 1. Then we have the Green Goblin. I have two because one's Ultimate Goblin. It's a mixture of, or it's the Prime Universe's main continuity Goblin and Ultimate Goblin. It's Norman Osborn. While this one is supposed to be, at least my fan named, Bart Hamilton, the third Green Goblin, who was Harry Osborn's therapist, who accidentally became the Green Goblin himself. Well, I shouldn't say accidentally. He was driven mad and became Green Goblin. Then we have Rhino and Rhino. Why are there two? I'll also explain the two vultures as well. So in the comics, his Rhino is Alexei Systovic. His American name is Alex O'Hearn. Then, when they created the Ultimate Comics, he was just Alex O'Hearn. And he went by RHINO, like an anagram. kind of like MODOK. Um, and he was like still kind of like this Rhino, but kind of like a cyborg. He had like a, you know, he looked all metal. The little eye face hole wasn't there. And then they created, they brought back Alex O'Hearn, but he was nothing like Alexei, like either version. Because obviously, even though he was named Alex O'Hearn in the Ultimate Comics, he still had the personality of Alexei. This version of Alex was like a nerdy kid who was turned into the Rhino in Ultimate Spider-Man. So that's him, RHINO. He's a mixture of Alex O'Hearn from the Ultimate Comics and from Ultimate Spider-Man and from the Amazing Spider-Man movies, while this is just regular, straight up Alexei Saistovic Rhino. I know it still looks like Alexei in there. I might end up replacing the figure later on, but right now I don't intend to do that. It's fine. You'll probably, again, like Detroit Steel, you'll never really see much under the armor. But who knows? I might have to do that for context in my animations. Sorry for the burp. Vulture and Vulture again. Vulture, and then right now I'm thinking of, because there were 3 dudes who were Vulture. Well, 4, but I don't count the other one technically as the main Vultures. And then, there was like a Western cowboy gunslinger Vulture and a guy who fought Conan. But, anyways, there was Adrian Toomes, which is what both of these are based off of. There's Renario Blackie Drago. That's his nickname, Blackie. I know that's weird, but it was the 60s or 70s. And then, what was it? I can't remember what the third guy, Shelton something? It's not Sheldon. It's not Big Bang Bazanga Man. It's, anyways, I'm just going with Blackie right now. Renario. Even though it looks like the other dude, plus Adrian, which is what it's obviously based off of, but I'm just going with that. We have Lizard, Ironmonger, Doc Ock, Juggernaut, Godzilla, Super Adaptoid, Hobgoblin, Thanos, Galactus, Black Dwarf, but in the movies they called him Collapsidian, which in the comics was just an alternate naming for the organization. Him and the others who served Thanos were part of the Black Order, the Collapsidian. But I guess they decided to call him Collapsidian instead in the movies because Black Dwarf sounded racist, maybe? I don't know. Kingpin, I think I said MODOK. Cosmic Hulk, he is fan painted by me. He has like the little red eye that you can maybe see. He's supposed to be like an MCU version of the Cosmic Hulk from the comics, who's like I think it was a Hulk robot who gained cosmic powers. My version, I just kind of added stuff onto a Saccharon soldier, and it's like my custom-made version of what Annihilus would look like in the MCU. Hela, the Obelisk. We have Grant Ward in his Iron Man imposter suit, like him disguising himself as Iron Man. Venom Pool, Zombie Spider-Man, Ava Star Ghost, Port Grind, Proxima Midnight. This guy I got from that new night theme they had a couple years ago. He kind of looked like a fire giant, and I just looked up fire giant names off of the Marvel. I am a Marvel fan. I know a lot about different characters, even really obscure. But at the time, I didn't know too many. I was like, and I don't think there's many fire giants compared to frost giants. There's only a couple handful, and technically he's not alive anymore. He was a character from way in the past, but I decided to use him anyways. Skullvieg. Then we have, I'm not really going to go over too many of the goons, Outriders and Skeletons and Spider Clones, Wendigos. We have Chitauri and Sacharons and Ultrons and this guy, and I'm going to jump around with this one because it's all kind of disorganized, not as neatly made like the other ones because some of the pieces are odder to fit in. We have Inner Demons I created. And then, let me bend down. We have Corvus Glaive, we have Ebony Maw, we have Yellow Jacket, Venom 2099, Prowler Aaron Davis, Ronan the Accuser, a Iron Skull. He is a clone of. He's a mixture of the Iron Skull from Marvel, Marvel's Avengers Assemble, and the clone that recently was, instead of the real Red Skull, he had the X-Men Imposters and became Red Onslaught. Anyways, it's a mixture of those guys. The Red Skull clone as Iron Skull. And then we have Aldrich Killen. We have a custom-made owl I made. Dormammu, custom-made Mr. Hyde I made. Trevor Slattery, but right now it's the Mandarin until they make an actual Mandarin figure. Madame Gao, custom I made. Captain Corbet. Hyperion, I know we saw that Hyperion. That was Mark Milton or Marcus Milton. And this is Zebran. Then we have Kraven the Hunter, Wolfgang von Strucker, Akuma, Count Nefaria, Riot, Ronin, which is Nozumi Katsuki. I was originally going to go with, because the Red Guardian became evil later in the comics, and then came back to life. He died, came back to life, became Ronin, led a group of imposter people like Phantasma, different Phantasmas and Crimson Dynamos and whatnot, and he became Ronin. But there was like, yeah, Hawkeye was in the comics as Ronin, and Blade and Echo, and yeah, him. But in the Marvel anime, that's kind of like a Pokemon type series for kids, Disc Wars. The kids, the main characters, the two kids, their dad is captured by Loki and brainwashed into being his minion, Ronin. So that's him. I know it's technically supposed to be based off of Clint, Hawkeye, as Ronin, but I'm just going with that. There's Riot, Poison, Doctor Doom, a minifigure version of Molten Man. I actually have the full version, the regular version. Pinhead, they had Marvel comics of him throughout the 80s-ish, 90s-ish. He's not really, I think, canon to the entire Marvel multiverse, but he had a lot of comics by them, so I don't know. So Pinhead, and then we have, the Robbers, the Draugrs. We have Keakilius, Alpha 0101, the new Sentinel that appeared in the comics made of nanomachines. My bootleg, like I said, there's a lot of custom figures, official figures, and bootlegs. This is one of the bootlegs I have. I have one of the other Spider-Man Far From Home sets, so when I unbox... Oh, sorry, I panned over too far. When I unbox it, I'll put on the bigger helmet on top of that. But that's, there's Mysterio. My Mysterio figure. He has the classic suit. And I think they're making an official figure of his suit. But then there's Collector. This was the official figure of Hank Pym they released. But it looked bad. And I have a better Hank Pym over there. And so, I don't... Yeah. It's really weird. So, but then... what was it? That is what I'm fan naming as Black Ant, the LMD that impersonated Eric O'Grady and became a bad guy. He went outside of other LMDs. He wasn't a one-off character. He became a reoccurring mercenary supervillain of various superheroes. So yeah, that's the Black Ant LMD of the third Ant-Man, Eric O'Grady. Then we have my Mad Thinker custom, Ultron, Eric Savin, Cold Blood 7, or just regular Extremis guy. Killmonger, Shocker, Jack Rollins. It's really just a Hydra dude. Like this guy and this guy are fan named. They're just regular Hydra dude, regular Extremis dude, but they're named off of characters that appeared in that film or around the time of those films. Jack Rollins being one of the Hydra dudes in Captain America: Winter Soldier, and then Eric Savin being one of the Extremis dudes in the movie. Then we have Doctor Doom, we have Omega Red, Pyro, Taserface, Scarecrow, Taskmaster, Dracula, the Latvarian, Beetle, my Mr. Knife custom, my Turk Barrett custom, I think I said Proxima Midnight, an Octodroid, Crossbones, Loki, Venom, Carnage, Whiplash, Lady Death, Sabretooth, Apocalypse, Red Skull, Sandman, my Puppet Master custom, Nebula, Baron Mordo, Madam Hydra, Ayesha, Mystique, Scourge the Executioner, Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. Freddy was a part of a mini-series they were making, Marvel was making, for Nightmare on Elm Street. The last issue got canceled, but then he did appear in the non-canon universe. It was numbered officially, but that Ash Williams appeared in, but it was later dismissed as non-canon because the comics were, aside from the Marvel Zombies versus the Evil Dead one, aside from that, none of the others were made by Marvel, but they numbered it nonetheless in their Monsters and Demons encyclopedia book. But he appeared in that universe, plus his miniseries, and he appeared in that universe, but he never had anything to do with Marvel. Then we have a Surtur minifigure. We have an AIM agent, a classic one, but I'm, again, thinking of fan naming it the Scientist Supreme. I don't know specifically which one. Hydra Supreme, Supreme Hydra, a Captain America, Claw, Talos the Tamer, and Deadpool the Duck. I feel like I might be missing some others, so I'm gonna scour over real quick and make sure I didn't miss any others. Oh, Electro and MODOK. Yeah, actually, I think that's it right there. Yeah, well. Oh, also, I forgot to mention these guys in the last video. Dummy, for the heroes. Hugin and Moonin. I don't know. I said it in a funny way, but they're the twin crows of Odin. And then, obviously, I don't know why I skipped them over, Groot and Rocket Raccoon. Anyways, I'll go over to my other characters and hopefully get to them, and then I'll wrap this video up. Next, we have my fan-named Earth Zero Avengers. We have Ultron Squad. We have Vincent Strange. It's Victor Strange. Sorry, Victor Strange. Doctor Strange's brother from the comics, who became Baron Blood, or Chiron. He is Doctor Strange in this universe. This is a all-new universe I made up. Operative Venom, Wade Wilson. Son Goku, Mr. Elastic, Rudion Richards, in that one universe, and where he's wearing the Future Foundation costume, but Rudion Richards comes from a name, and where him, Colossus, Magic, and Black Widow were a member of a Soviet Fantastic Four in a What If story. Loki, Odin's son. Dead instead of Laufey's son. He's actually officially Odin's son. Ultron 8.2. He's kind of loosely based off of Ultron 8 from Old Man Logan's universe. Peter Maximoff instead of Pietro, based off of the one from the X-Men movies. Jim Wilson, Sam's nephew, as the Falcon. Alexis Luthor, I think Earth 1 or Earth 2's Lex Luthor as Superman. Leonard Samson, Doc Samson, as the Red Hulk. Donald Blake officially as Thor. Vision with the Mind Stone, the Space Stone instead of the Time Stone. This was a misprint they made early on in printing. You can't really see it well, so I apologize. But early on, when they printed Vision's face, they gave him a blue stone because, this gem in Loki's staff. But then when you cracked it open, it was yellow, so they jumped the gun on that. But I have that, like most people do. And, or most people who got the set. It's not like extremely rare or anything, but anyways, yes, he has the Space Stone in this universe instead of the Mind Stone. Then we have a Korg minifigure I had before finding the big figure. In this universe, it's Ben Grimm as The Rock. Draxus the Annihilator. Captain America Jr., based off of that previously mentioned Spider-Man Jr. figure I had, a clone of Captain America, Hellboy, Dr. David Banner and the Monster, Yelena Belova as the Black Widow, the Master and XPO from LEGO Dimensions. You can't see under his face, but Rhodey, James Rhodes as Iron Man. I know it looks like Cap, but it's not actually Steve. It's James Buchanan Barnes as Nomad. I might later rename this as actually being Steve, because I don't have a regular Steve here, but, you know, it might be a cool dynamic. But I'm thinking of going with, you know, it being Bucky as Nomad, and taking up the mantle of the Captain America suit and all, looking like him. It would be kind of cool, but, I don't know. Anyways, then we have Weapon X, Wolverine. Then we have Agent Scorpio, which is Jack Fury. Some of these characters you see, it's because I don't like putting figures to waste, like I said. So that was the one from the Captain Marvel's set, and where it was an early version of Nick Fury, but this is Jack. The Bat, Tim Drake. I had these guys, I had to buy the Street Fighter Street Fighter characters in the set, but these guys came with, but they're not in the Marvel vs. Capcom series, but here they are, Vega and E Honda. Then we got a Earth-Zero version of Rocket. I haven't come up with a different name for him. There's Spawn, the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, Matt Murdock, Daredevil. Then we have the Black Panthers. In the Ultimate Comics, T'Challa has a last name, Udaku, and he's the brother of the man-ape in that universe. But in this, it's T'Challa Udaku and Eric Udaku, I think. Yes. And it's, Killmonger and him as brothers in this universe, the Black Panthers. Then we have Ellen Ripley from the Predator series. We have Punisher as the Fool Killer. We have the Teen Brigade. We have Peter Parker, Ricky Jones, and Lil Jimmy. Or no, that's Ricky Jones. That's Lil Jimmy. John Jameson III, JJ's son, who later became the Man-Wolf, and Rick Jones, just Ricky. In this universe, they're the Teen Brigade who helped the Avengers, kind of like Rick was a part of the Teen Brigade early on. This is their Earth-Zero counterparts. We have Twig, and then we have Kaneki Ken, and we have an unnamed knight right now. I don't have a name for him. Oh, and Thanos quotations. It's actually Thane all grown up. And then we have right here Voltron himself. So that's cool. And now I think we'll try to move on. Real quick, here's another group. Sorry for all this clutter below, but there's my Molten Man actual version of him. But in this universe, their main antagonist is the Emperor of Iron, Arno Stark III, and Ian Rogers instead of I originally was gonna make it Ian Zola, or the new Nomad, which is Leopold Zola, Ian Rogers, the son of Arnim Zola, but instead it's Captain, and he was going to be Captain Hydra, but it's Captain Nemesis, Joseph Walker. It's just the same as John Walker, but sometimes when they, like in DC, if they, say Count Vertigo, his name was, I think, originally his last name was like Count something Vertigo, but then they changed his last name to Zeidel. So, or certain people will change their first names. It's technically their analog of them, or their counterpart in the other reality. But the name is just slightly altered, yet it's still that person. So this is supposed to be John, but he goes by Joseph in this universe. Joseph Walker, Captain Nemesis. And then their army of xenomorphs. And then the last member of... the Defenders of Earth-Zero instead of the Avengers. Oh, no, take that back. The Justice Society. And the Spider, Hobby Brown, who's the Prowler of the main continuity universe. and then I'll move on to my last heroes, and hopefully I'll have time to update, so I'll see you in a minute. Okay, finally the last universe. It's the Masked Men Brigade. It's a universe in what if the MCU took place in the 1950s. We have Captain Cosmic. I have to get through this really quick because I only have like a good 5 or 6 more minutes. So, Captain Cosmic, Mariel, or Dr. Wendy Lawson. It's based off of the name Wendy because they changed Marvel from the main comics from a male to a female. Instead of Walter Lawson, it was Wendy in the MCU, and Mariel is Carol's mom, Marie Danvers, or Maria Danvers, who turned out to be a Kree, and her real name was Mariel, but it's Mariel as Captain Marvel, or Captain Cosmic, Dr. Wendy Lawson. Then we have Brute, because obviously in this universe, he'd be played by an actual actor instead of a CGI creature, because they didn't have the effects back then. We have Dr. Bob Banner, because they made it in a recent comic. They made a joke that because he only went by Bob a couple times in the old comics or in misprints, and Bob is kind of a goofy old school name, or not really an old school name, but you know what I mean. He wouldn't go by Bob, he'd just go by Bruce. But Bob Banner, Snap Wilson, Blackbird. I know that seems a little racist, but we have Black Panther, for goodness sake. And it would be the 50s or 60s or 70s. Back then, they didn't really know how well to make black characters, so every black character would be named Black something. Maybe that's just me being presumptuous, but obviously that would probably be his name back in the day. Or he'd just go by, like, Falcon or Condor. He'd still go by Falcon, but, like, Condor or Birdman or something. But Blackbird is what I'm going with for now. Gamora, still Gamora, but she's not an alien. Her name is Bambi Long, the dead, and she goes by the alias Gamora. Bambi Long was an alias she used in the comics. The Hulk, if I get a Hulk minifigure, I'll change it to that, because obviously he would be in a, kind of like the Lou Ferrigno. They didn't have CGI, so they would just make him look like he transformed through, like, not really good visual effects. But if we did this, he'd be a big puppet partially shadowed because they don't have him finished, and he would move really jankily. The same would be said for Rocket Raccoon, who in this universe is called Rocky Raccoon. He'd be a crudely looking Muppets puppet, or, Sesame Street puppet. Then we have Dr. Vincent Stevens. Vincent Stevens, which was an alternate name Doctor Strange went by in that universe. His name in this universe for his superhero alias is The Wizard. Then we have Roger Grant, who takes the last name first and the first name last of the other two Captain Americas, Grant Gardner and Steve Rogers. Instead of Steve Rogers, it's Roger Grant, or instead of Grant Gardner, it's Roger Grant. Sorry, I'm trying to get through this fast, but you get what I'm saying. The Spider-Man. Spider-Man's name is mashed together. The name sounds similar to the old World War II criminal, the actual first Spider-Man who appeared in the Marvel Comics. But this is based off of Billy Barker, the character whose name they used in the Into the Spider-Verse movie instead of Peter Parker on the cover of the What If comics, because, they can't use Peter's real name to give away his alias, so they call him Billy. So that in some form probably exists in a universe. So Billy Barker, the Spider-Man. Then we have the Vision, Arcus, the original Vision from World War II. Enough said, that's him. Pete O'Hara, because they wouldn't call him Quill, they go by a really generic name. Pete O'Hara, the Rocket Man. There we go. Thunder, Thor, with 2 R's. No Odinson, just Thor, but with 2 R's at the end. Thunder. And T'Chaka, the cat. Then we move over to the villains. We have the Cabal. In this universe, the Cabal wouldn't be compromised of people like Red Skull and MODOK, like in Avengers Assemble, or people in the comics like Norman Osborn, Thanos, Maximus the Mad, so on and so forth. It would just be a bunch of criminals. But I decided to make their villain, the boss in quotations, whose alias isn't revealed towards the end of the miniseries, and make it a spin-off of the main series. The boss, Thanos of Titan, he would also be a dude in, like, makeup. Then we have Dr. Von Evil, generic scientist, and his minion, Igor, generic hunchback minion dude. And then all the criminals. We have criminals, assassins, evil Haitian bodyguards, and, mad scientist, escaped convicts, an evil general. We have all kinds of villains. So that would be the 1950s Masked Men Brigade. I feel like I called them the Avengers. Versus the Cabal. So, hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that video. I don't know when I'm gonna update next. One second. Sorry, I got interrupted. As I was saying, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry, I was just trying to see if my camera was on me. That was my dad at the door. I know this is very unprofessional, but like I said, I have to do this in one take, and I have to check if it's paused or not. This would be a lot more professional if I had my, well, not a whole lot more professional, but I'd try if this was with my computer. But I hopefully will update and record something soon, but I don't know. I'm not, I don't have my Elgato or whatever, and I don't know where it is right now. I want to record some gameplay. I did some on my friend's channel that we recorded like, oh my gosh, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. We have not put up anything on that channel forever, but I recorded some like Forza and Call of Duty stuff with them. I don't play those games, but if I did, it was usually with them, or I just hang around while they played video games. But they recorded stuff on there, and who knows, I might record something like a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne. I want to play some of those games, some of the Lego games, stuff like that, God of War or something. But maybe do vlog skits. I want to do a lot of stuff, but I just don't have the equipment or the right resources or people to help me out with this kind of stuff. So, but hopefully I will update a video. I have vlogs on my computer. They're just me walking around talking and whatnot, but I like the environments I'm in. So, I'll see you guys later. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully I didn't talk too fast and didn't, I mumbled a lot, but I had to get through this video fast. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, sorry if I have a weird thumbnail. Anyways, I'll see you guys later, and bye.